When you look at this Arsenal team, a simple question: do you think they are ready to win the Premier League title? I mean, by general consensus, it looks like this is the best squad in the Premier League.
If Eze will start at number 10, play Martinelli on the left wing, what happens to Odegaard? That is one problem that I'm telling you guys that come December, January, it will be a headache and a topic or a discussion to have.
When Odegaard plays, Saka plays better because he's able to combine well with Saka, who is their best player in the team. And is that combination down that right hand side that normally gives Arsenal a lot of goals and creates a lot of opportunities. So I get why Odegaard plays.
There were two new signings that were almost up to 100 million sitting on the bench, rotting on the bench, when he decided to bring on a fullback.
And in the end, I thought Man United were still even poor, even with 11 men on the pitch.
If Man U score, we know Man U are handicapped. We know Man U's game is on the first 15 minutes.
It was a brilliant day for Barcelona. They managed the game well. They managed the temperament of the game well.
He's not playing well. They are not winning games. And people are asking for him to be sacked. I think he has to just resign.
Welcome to Footy Center podcast series. Welcome to Footy Center podcast series.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
Hello and welcome to another episode of FC Pitchside Podcast with me, Thierry Nyan. And in this episode, we are looking at the Premier League and how it's taking shape, especially with Arsenal dropping further behind Liverpool after this weekend's result, and how Manchester City have changed its system under Pep Guardiola, who would have thought, and how Chelsea broke the unwanted records at Old Trafford, and Ruben Amorim may have a different, lifeline altogether after Saturday. We'll also be taking a look at the UEFA Champions League as it returned, and look at how some of the big boys fared in the competition. Also, what is happening at Benfica, especially as Jose Mourinho has returned to where it all began, and how also Thomas Partey fared in court, and what has happened in the last few days concerning his legal issues in England. But anyway, this is FC Pitchside Podcast. Thank you very much for joining us, and remember, you can leave comments on our discussions. Instead of the fire emojis, can you just leave real comments? We want to know what your thoughts on the topics. We want to know what you think about the various things we're talking about. So please leave a comment on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, wherever you are getting this particular feed. And also remember to subscribe and like this. I'm joined in this virtual room by Ajo and Sicho. Guys, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're back.
We're back. It's been 2-week absence, and we're back. Thank you very much for joining us in this particular one. Guys, how's your weekend been? Before we move on, how's your weekend been?
Very cool, very calm. By God's grace, we are fine.
I can see a tactical board behind you, Ajo.
It's for Maresca.
The tactical board is mainly for Maresca, but I see only red shirts.
Yeah, because he's in trouble.
No, it's for Maresca, but the part of the board you see is for Man United, the Man United team that was in played against Chelsea, so they are in red.
Oh, okay. Charlie. It's on Coach's Day. Anyway, Sicho, how's your weekend been?
It's been fun. Lots of football.
Any weddings, any funerals, any outdoorings?
Yeah. I actually attended a funeral in the morning yesterday on Saturday, and then in the afternoon at 1 p.m. I also attended a wedding. So I had to get home and then catch up with the games.
So you went to cry and you went to jubilate. Hey, Charlie, you get different emotions in one day.
No, it was more or less a celebration of life in the funeral.
Oh, okay.
And then the wedding towards celebration of a union. So yeah, it was all joyous.
Right.
And I had a lovely weekend.
I like that. Family man, Sicho. We like to see it. Anyway, let's zoom straight into action, guys. Let's zoom straight into action. And I don't want to ask what your highlight of the weekend is, because trust me, there are so many highlights across the board. And so let's start with the English Premier League, and let's start with the action that just ended. That is Arsenal against Manchester City at the Emirates. I never really thought that there was ever going to come a time that I would see Arsenal play against Man City, dominate as much as they did, and Pep Guardiola being extremely happy to sit back. And when you look at the substitutions that he made, it looked as if he was very happy for a 1-0 win or at worst a draw, because even when the goal went in, the typical Pep Guardiola would have been so frustrated, scratching his head, doing different things. This time it was calm. It was like, well, we got the result we came for, probably to stifle Arsenal, to frustrate them. And it just shows the momentum has shifted in England. Situ, I'll start with you.
Yeah, on the back of the season Man City had, nobody really expected that they were going to be flying this time. We always knew that they had a lot of work to be done or a lot of work to do. And when they turn up against Arsenal, who seem to have a settled team and have brought in some addition, you're expecting Pep Guardiola to be a bit measured. And once he got that goal, the way he approached the game from the point he got that goal really told the story. That he was happy to get the goal and he was happy to protect the lead and maybe then snatch all the 3 points. And as we mentioned, after the equalizer went in, he wasn't necessarily angry. I think he looked at it and thought, perhaps the 1-1, it's a fair reflection of the game and maybe a point on the back of how well Arsenal played and how well they didn't play was a fair result. Yeah, but that's for Pep Guardiola and for City. On the other hand, for Arsenal, if you really want to win the title, these are the games you can afford to drop points. City's a big club and all of that. But if there's one of your contenders at their weakest point, you put your boot on their throat. So you beat City at home, take all the 3 points, and then you move on. But you drop 2 points against a bad City now at home. Again, we are beginning to see signs of the same Arsenal team that hasn't won Premier League because of some of these traits. So yeah, they'll be disappointed. And look, when Arsenal got the equalizer, at the time they were dominating, I thought Arsenal were going to grab the ball and go and pass the ball and try to find the winner. But like when they got the equalizer, it looked like they were so satisfied to have just equalized. But for a team that really wants to win the title, when you have City against on their backs like that, you get the equalizer, you pick up the ball, you go again. And that is some of the mentality switch that we expect to see from Arsenal.
Right, Ajo. So when you look at this Arsenal team, a simple question: do you think they are ready to win the Premier League title? I mean, by general consensus, it looks like this is the best squad in the Premier League. We all have to agree in terms of not first 11, the entire squad. When you look at the bench and when you look at substitutions that Arteta can pull up, all round for every position, it looks like he can bring Ben White for Timber and you wouldn't see a difference. He can bring Luis Kelly for Calafiori and you wouldn't see a difference. Centre back, he has good options. In midfield, he has good options. In attack, now he's very much stacked. With all the pressure on Arteta, can he win the Premier League this season?
And his first 2 big games, he has not gotten all 3 points. So you'll be asking yourself, compare his big games last season to now, he has not won any yet. Grinding a draw and getting a defeat at Anfield. But for me, I feel like the way he's approaching these games is not bad.
Okay.
People are rather overthinking for him. Like, okay, let me sit back. Today, Pep sat back and got a point from Mikel Arteta.
Right.
If he opened up to play, maybe Arteta will get more goals. He also get more goals. Maybe one of them will win the game, like by a slim margin. I think he's doing everything right. But today, for me, after watching the game, I was like, everything they wanted to do from the set pieces, the normal cleared everything. But for that chip from Martinelli, maybe they won't get even at like the 1 point. So maybe the set pieces in big games won't work for you all the time. You need to come up with a different strategy. I've been saying this now that Eze, so far, I feel like he should play as number 10. After saying that quickly, now after a week, you see Martinelli went to Bilbao and scored a goal, winning goal, important goal. Today, you have saved them again. Meaning
have
he's
I lost
pushing
Ajo
for a
there?
start.
If I have, then let's move on quickly then.
Pushing for a starting bet.
Okay.
And it means that can you guys hear me now?
We can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. He's pushing for a start. That means that if Eze will start at number 10, play Martinelli on the left wing, what happens to Odegaard? That is one problem that I'm telling you guys that come December, January, it will be a headache, a topic or a discussion to have because he won't like to drop Odegaard.
Odegaard is the captain. He can't be dropped.
No, he can be dropped.
How can he be dropped? How can you drop your captain who has been very, very inspirational for you as well?
But has he been influential? Has he been effective? Has he been efficient? I don't think so. Numbers wise as number 10. He does well in helping with the Arsenal build-up. But as to whether he will add progressive passes for it to become assist, we don't get that from him. And Eze has started feeding Gyökeres from the left wing. Imagine what he can do for Gyökeres when he's at number 10. So I feel like he should have that balls and let Odegaard, sit on the bench for some maybe big games. Because numbers wise, Odegaard is not there with the number 10 in the EPL. Eze can play as number 10 and help. When you play Martinelli as a left winger, easily for him to track back and help Calafiori or help Skelly. But when you play Eze at left wing, Arsenal is being exposed to get concede some goals. Why? Because Eze won't give you that energy to defend, like how Martinelli will do on the left wing. This is a Martinelli that after some few games on the bench, he wants to show that the left wing goal is his position. So you put him there. So Eze, like, but Mikel won't do that change. And
Yeah.
it becomes like you've got number 10, who is Eze, who can do the work for you. But because Odegaard is not being productive, you still want to play him.
Sicho, it looks like this is the first time Mikel Arteta actually has a squad headache and a team selection headache. I mean, he's had a very strong first 11 and had players who can come in and, sometimes make changes or, affect a game. But this is the first time he's going to be troubled by who should start, considering the kind of transfers, big name transfers that he's made. What do you think is the best midfield and attack composition for Arsenal? Looking at the squad they have.
Well, listen, it's a good problem for any manager to have. What would be their best midfield and best their attack going forward into games? Again, would also very slightly depend on the opposition, the opponent they are playing.
Right.
But I see why Odegaard plays. When Odegaard plays, Saka plays better because he's able to combine well with Saka, who is their best player in the team. And is that combination down that right hand side that normally gives Arsenal a lot of goals and creates a lot of opportunities. So I get why Odegaard plays. Odegaard's final balls or final flourishes are not necessarily great with numbers, but when he plays, it brings the best out of certain players.
It's a similar conversation to Luka Modric when he was at Tottenham Hotspur. Before he moved to Real Madrid, people questioned his numbers, that he is not a goal scorer, he doesn't have good numbers in assists. But there are some players who are special because they are the pass before the assist. And Odegaard is one of those guys who will not reflect on the stat sheets, but his contributions on the pitch, unless you watch the game, you wouldn't appreciate him.
Yeah, honestly, I get it. I know why people are saying Odegaard, because when you look at Odegaard's numbers in themselves, the goals and assists from them, they are not great. But he's a very important part of what it makes the Arsenal team very, very thick. So I can understand why it's important to how Mikel Arteta wants to play. But it's a good problem to have because then you've got Eze. So Eze as well can provide him competition. Martinelli has always been just decent, but this season we've seen how he has responded to being on the bench. So when he's come off the bench in the Champions League, he scored. When he's come off the bench in the big game against Man City, he scored. So as a manager, you're thinking that, okay, even Eze could be on the bench, and like today, when Eze came onto the game, he brought his A game, he assisted a goal, and what have you. So it's a fantastic opportunity for the manager to have to work with the squad. What now Mikel Arteta has to do is to keep all the players happy. Let them be happy enough to want to come off the bench and contribute. Let them be happy enough to know that when they start and they are not playing well, they can be taken off the pitch. Remember that when Arsenal played the last time in the Premier League, Madueke was their best player. He played so well. After halftime today, Saka came and took his place. So Arsenal have got a very decent. We saw the young boy in defense in place of Saliba, Mosquera. He was brilliant in absence of Saliba. Yeah. Saliba comes in, Saliba comes to take his place. So all of a sudden, then we have an Arsenal team where there are several positions that many players can flourish. Several positions that many players can get in there and put in their best foot. But even more importantly for the coach, you can't go through the season without planning for injuries. So Saka is injured, Madueke is there. Odegaard is injured, Eze or Merino, depending upon who places there. So yeah, it's a good problem for the coach to have. How can he manage the players to keep all of them happy and get them to take their chances when they come? Will be the big test for Mikel Arteta.
All right, so let's look at tests then, because one of the biggest tests for Enzo Maresca happened at Old Trafford. He wouldn't have expected that, considering the struggles that Manchester United have been going through in recent months. But in this particular game, it all unfolded in the first 5 minutes after Robert Sanchez got himself sent off after a late tackle, on Mbeumo. And after that is when everything changed, because after that, within about 15 minutes, Enzo Maresca just jumped into panic mode and effected 3 changes. Of course, one was forced because he needed a goalkeeper on the pitch, and so he sacrificed Esteval. And then the second was Pedro Neto also coming off for Tosin. And then the third was Cole Palmer, and that was also forced because of injury. But what this meant was Chelsea now were without any attacking prowess besides Joao Pedro. And what that also meant was Manchester United had the liberty without worrying about anything behind, to keep going forward and attacking Chelsea. I have a lot of things to say about this particular thing because it doesn't make sense to me how a coach jumps straight in. I mean, we've seen so many times teams going down by 10 men. And I'm telling you, even lower division teams know how to react to situations like that. Yeah, of course, first thing you want to do is to bring on a goalkeeper, especially if it's a goalkeeper that has been substituted. You may want to make a change again if you don't want to reshuffle the pack on the pitch. You may want to make a change again and sacrifice someone else. Where my problem starts off is he said at the end of the game that Cole Palmer was not 100% fit and had to pass a fitness test. Why should Cole Palmer still be on the bench on the pitch, and then you sacrifice one of your biggest pace merchants in Pedro Neto? This was a guy who could help you in transition. You sacrifice him. One of the biggest gripes that I get is how a coach decides that, I changed the goalkeeper. Why can't I just reshuffle with the team that I have on the pitch? You should have a plan B, something that still works with what you have. Study the game, see where it's going, see where Man United are attacking, and see how you can nullify them. It seems like a good plan on paper when you say that, they're attacking with 5 players because they have wing backs, and so you also wanted to, match them boot for boot. But it doesn't make sense on the pitch, considering you had players like Reece James who could play in multiple, positions and situations. Why can't you just reshuffle the pack? Why do you need to effect changes? And I understand maybe the rule change from 3 substitutes to 5 substitutes may have convinced him that, I can make 3 and I still have 2 to make in the second half. But that was when I had even more issues, because why do you bring in Malo Gusto and Tyreek George? The sight of Tyreek George in the Chelsea shirt still pisses me off. I still don't think he's Chelsea level. And for some reason, Enzo Maresca trusts him so much that there were 2 new signings, 2 new summer signings that were that were almost up to 100 million sitting on the bench, rotting on the bench, when he decided to bring on a fullback and a young boy who wasn't even supposed to be in the Chelsea team in the first place, had his deal to Fulham gone through. So meaning that about 3 weeks ago, Tyreek George was not even part of your plans. Garnacho and Gittins were supposed to be part of your plans. And then suddenly, Garnacho and Gittins are no longer part of your plans in the games that we've seen. And it's like Tyreek George is a main go-to on the bench for you. I don't know if you guys remember, he had to make a substitution recently and then take Tyreek George off again just a few weeks ago. He's not good enough. And for some reason, Maresca trusts him. And it might just cost him his job if he continues with this habit of trusting this young boy who is not producing. And also with his bad decisions in game. But enough of my rants. Let me get the guy's thoughts. Ajo, you're a Chelsea guy. What are your initial thoughts on that particular game, the decisions by Maresca and the results overall? Ajo is sleeping. So I think network issues there. So Sicho, let me pick your thoughts on the Chelsea Man United game, how Man United won, and all of it. Your take on everything.
Look, listen, I said it earlier, and I even said it on the pod, that I really want to see how Enzo Maresca and Chelsea fare this season, especially when they will now be playing in Champions League and they'll be playing in the Premier League.
Yeah,
now
you said
the game preceding their first Champions League game was a game against Brentford, and in the end, or was it Brentford or was Brentford?
No, it was Brentford.
No, it was Brentford. And Chelsea, and he tried to rest some of his players to go and face Bayern Munich. So in that first half, he dropped some of his, if you like, more important players. And then Chelsea didn't play well in that first half. So he had to quickly bring on those players in the second half. Chelsea got a foothold on the game. In the end, they still drew the game. He goes to the Champions League with his A-listed players, and then they lose the game. He's come back into the Premier League against Man United, and he picks a team to go and play the game. And Chelsea at the start of the game, even before the red card, looked like United had a bit more of intensity than Chelsea. You wonder if that defeat and chasing of the ball a lot of the times in Bayern or in Munich had actually affected Chelsea's physicality coming into the game against Man United. Then, unfortunately, after a few minutes, there's a red card. So we are unable to really tell if the game in the Champions League had a big toll on Chelsea coming into the game because it was very quick. But that 4 minutes let's face it, Man United looked like they had a bit more of energy about them than Chelsea. So that red card happens, and that is where you're expecting Enzo Maresca to really maybe manage the game well, change the team shape a little bit. We get it, like you mentioned, the goalkeeper has to come on, so he sacrifices Estevao. He's young. It's a difficult game, 10 against 11. You don't want to put him to too much risk, so you take him off, understandable. Now, if you knew that Kopama wasn't fit going into the game, and there's a player down, and every player is supposed to run an extra yard, tackle even more, track players more, and work harder than they would have if it was 11v11, maybe then you even take off Kopama before Estevao. Just maybe. Just maybe, because Kopama is so important that you don't want him to aggravate any of his injuries because he has to work extra hard for a team that is a man down. Again, you also want to keep a player like Pedro Neto in the game, because if you want one of a winger in Chelsea who has the right attributes and ability to track back, work so hard off the ball, yet be able to carry the ball and run the long haul on the counter, it probably is Pedro Neto. So if you're if you're a man down and you need a winger to do extra work, you probably counted on Pedro Neto. So those decisions really went against him, or really didn't help Chelsea. And in the end, I thought Man United were still even poor, even with 11 men on the pitch. It was a Chelsea that were wrongly and poorly organized. But as soon as it became 10v10, and Enzo Maresca had his boys in the dressing room and recoached them, we saw that in that second 45 minutes, had he had a few more attacking players on the pitch with a bit more of quality in maybe Neto, or maybe trusted to bring on a Garnacho. I don't trust Jimmy Gittins. I've spoken to you guys about him. I think it's a flash in the pan. It's not good enough for Chelsea. But
I agree. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, if you had Pedro Neto still on in that second half, let's give him time and see. But I don't trust. I've seen enough of him in Dortmund. He's decent, but he's not a guy. So that is why I think that Enzo Maresca got it wrong. But in that second half, 10v10, Chelsea were by far the better team. But in the end, they are left it a hole too big for them to fill.
Ajo, your take on Enzo Maresca's decisions, Chelsea, and the results overall. How does this affect Chelsea going forward?
It's bad. It's not good news, Thierry. Before I even go to Maresca and the funny stuff he did yesterday, I think the first blame goes to Sanchez. This is why some of us were calling for Mike Maignan, seriously, because you can't fanfool us with just one super performance at the club. I knew that the season will kickstart and we'll have the old Sanchez back. I wasn't surprised. I knew it. Minutes 4.
But to be fair, though, the last few months, there have been very few complaints about Sanchez.
Fair enough, but you still have to be intelligent in big games. You have to be consistent as a keeper. How often do we have, like in general, if not for Nana and you Sanchez, how often do we talk about keepers? Even in the EPL. Talk about strikers and midfielders and wingers. So those who are not being consistent. A goalkeeper, minute 4. 1v1. If Man U score, we know Man U are handicapped. We know Man U's game is only first 15 minutes. When Chelsea takes over the game, we can control the game and get the equalizer. How on earth do you just go in and just not apply common sense or be intelligent and just do this to your team? This is Chelsea. So easy for everybody to lose confidence and like break down after a red card. I've seen Xabi Alonso win games with red card, from Leverkusen to Madrid. So I won't go to Maresca first. I'll go to Sanchez. What were you doing? He has to be benched. Like, we have to get a keeper.
I think it's a sequence of mistakes, and there's no one person to blame there, because in a couple of seconds, Chalobah made that first mistake. In his aerial challenge with Šeško.
I won't blame Chalobah for that aerial win for Šeško, because Šeško was always going to win that ball.
Right.
Was always going to win that ball.
But you see, it's as a centre back, it's also all about timing. It's also all about intimidation. No, I get it. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't mean that Chalobah cannot win aerial balls. He's a centre back. He's expected to win aerial balls, regardless who he's going up against. He's expected to be fighting for and putting up good challenges. And Šeško did what he did. Chalobah had already committed himself. And you see, this is a mistake that has been repeating itself against Brentford, against Bayern Munich. He's always committing himself very early, very high up the pitch. And he's always exposing his centre-back partner. I'm not saying Chalobah is not a good centre-back. He is. I like him. But all I'm saying is this has become a trend that is unfortunately going against the entire defense. And if you also look at Sanchez, then the next mistake is Sanchez. When he could have... Because at the time, there were two defenders that were rushing to help Sanchez. I don't know why he thought that
Just
that
show the
that,
ball.
that
Just
kicking
show the
him
ball.
Mbumo was
Don't
was
commit
the,
him.
was the
Yes.
only and the best solution.
Commit him.
And then Maresca also, for some reason, I don't know if it's an Old Trafford intimidation and the
I
whole
don't know if
atmosphere.
he like Solskjaer now. I don't know what he was trying to do, but you see, for me, I have the board here that I
Oh my
realized that
goodness!
this is something that we can learn. I don't know if you can see. I mean,
Yeah,
the
I
light
can
will-
see.
Yeah. If we can learn something from here, because yesterday I was watching the game. Rather than being angry, okay, let me just sit down and analyze this thing. Pick one or two things from this game.
Right,
Coaches are winning games with 9 men. Chelsea versus was it Leicester City? Sterling scored a goal. We won. Thomas Tuchel, we won with 9 men against Leicester.
right.
And also we've seen some. So if you have 9 men on the field, outfield players. Luckily for you, Chelsea, Henry, because Ticho, you build up in a 3-back system. So why should it be stressful? Why should it be stressful for you? This is Cucurella. This is Chaluba. This is Fofana. Let that shit be there.
Fofana had a good game yesterday.
Yes. This is your build up. This is your build up. So the 3-back, maintain that 3-back. Let's put Enzo and Caicedo here. Let's put Esteval here. Because if you are saying as a coach, Palmer is injured, take him off. Keep Esteval as number 10. Then here, Neto as the right winger, with James as the left winger, with just as the right winger. You have Joao Pedro here. This is me when we are in possession. Now off the ball, Neto comes back to help as a left back. We just come back to help as a right back. You're a man down, so you can even mop up a 5-back system and try and hit on the counter.
Which means in this case, the first 4 guy for you is Cole Palmer.
Yeah, because he's injured.
Right,
Even if he's not injured, he can't run. He can't
Right.
defend for us.
Right.
Take him off.
right.
Oh yeah, you are taking off one winger. Why two? Why two?
Yeah.
So if he went with this approach, because what made me angry is that Amaris Kabab, we already built up in a 3-back system. So if we are man down, it should be easy for us. Just drop Enzo deep to be the deep line playmaker, help Caicedo, and use the ability of Joao Pedro, who is a ball playing number 9. He can be everywhere.
Okay.
Even if we don't get a goal, if we get a win, at least you are showing us that with a red card, you have a system in place.
Mm.
Because Rich James in the second half was enjoying the right half spaces here and was just flying crosses in
Because
the
at the
box.
time it was against 10 men. By the way, let's move on. Let's move on because we've done 25 minutes on just 2 games. I want us to quickly.
This guy Tosin,
Yeah,
I think he gave us the worst performance of a defender in the EPL yesterday,
and it wasn't just yesterday. It's actually been the last 3 games. He's been.
and it's that bad. I think we should be sold. It's that bad.
And again, Sicho, you see, for all the things that Chelsea have done in the transfer market, I think the defense, when you look at the names in the defense and the quality they have in defense, it's their weakest, and all that. But anyway, let's move on from Chelsea. Manchester United now have gotten a win. They put it out of the bag, and Amorim definitely should have a lifeline there. Sicho, I'll let you speak briefly on Manchester United's win, and if this tells us anything about their season they're about to have.
For Amorim and Man United's sake, I hope it does, but I don't see it. I think that the way and the manner they won the game really peppers over a lot of cracks in the team as we've seen this season. I don't think that if Chelsea had a man down and poorly and Enzo Maresca poorly managed the game as he did, Man United were going to win the game. And even that, they didn't win it convincingly. And United were playing at home. So I don't necessarily think that beating Chelsea changes anything about what we've seen of this Man United team. We need to see a lot more of consistent performances and a lot more of wins from them to be convinced that maybe what Amorim is trying to do is working. Other than that, I don't think this victory changes anything.
Yeah, of course, it's against 10 men, and of course, it was also for 85 minutes. And so
Jerry, hold on. Once again, I told somebody something that, okay, at 10, 11 v 11, I was expecting Chelsea to win, right? Then it became 11 v 10. At 11 v 10, I was expecting then Man United to maybe then win, especially after what Maresca did. And truly, in that first 45, Chelsea had a record in the 4th minute. So in the 41 minutes plus the 5 minutes that was added, Man United won that game 2-0 in the first half. Then in the second half, when it was 10 v 10, Chelsea actually won the game. So I was telling somebody, if you really want to analyze Man United's performance over the game, you have to break it into the storylines of the game. So at 11 v 11, game was goalless. At 11 v 10, Man United scored twice. But once it became 10 v 10, Chelsea were the better team. Chelsea actually won the game when it was 10 v 10. But ultimately, Chelsea didn't have enough to go on and do more to get anything from the game. So it doesn't really tell me that Man United did massive job in that game.
Right.
But it's good that Amorim is staying.
I think that's very.
I want him to stay.
For your own selfish reasons. Anyway, some other results that we need to look at. And quickly, we'll just run through how Liverpool beat Everton by 2-1. And guys, this is also very interesting considering Mohamed Salah is not necessarily being the best. He's not been in the best shape in terms of, attacking prowess in the last year or so. But he still comes up with the goods. But it's not. We don't want to focus on his attack. His assist. It's rather the goal by Gravenberch. My God, what a goal! that a central midfielder scores like a typical number 9, and also the goal by Ekitike. And again, Ekitike has also proven that he's not scared of Isaac.
Yeah, and Henry, he's improving on his off the ball abilities. That's Gravenberch. And that's amazing. I think when we talk about DMs in the EPL that are good with cutting the ball, recoveries. You mentioned Caicedo decline, right? But Gravenberch is becoming top 2. He's improving off the ball. On the ball, he's already a monster. So I think people are saying, is he the best DM in the EPL now? And funny enough, he's not even a DM.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Yeah, the Ryan I know it was a box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah, he's a typical number 8, yeah.
I think he has really evolved, and that's positive. But for Liverpool, something funny is happening there. They are not playing well.
Mm-hmm. But they're winning games. They're picking up all 3 points.
Yes.
They are the only perfect team so far.
Against Everton, they didn't go to last minute. They got the early goals, and they considered later in the game.
Right.
And they got their 3 points. So I don't know. I want to see what Slot will do with Frimpong and Kekes, because that was what I was watching. They are full-flying fullbacks. But so far, they've not been so efficient in his system. But they are winning the games because they have a solid midfield. They have experience. And luckily for them, Hugo is scoring goals.
Right.
You have to see Isaac. So I think for Liverpool, the experience and the right profiles, they bench Florian Wirtz, but they didn't miss him.
Yeah, and talk about that though. Talk about that, Sicho. So, what do you think is the best composition in midfield for Liverpool, considering Wirtz was out of this game and they seemed a bit comfortable, especially in the first hour of the game? With Szoboszlai, McAllister, and Gravenberch. Do you think that should be the way forward? Because it's impossible to drop Wirtz considering how much they paid for him.
Yeah, it's impossible to drop him, but I think Liverpool's best midfield 3 at the moment is still Szoboszlai, McAllister, and Gravenberch. Look, I like Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai didn't come for the amount of money that Wirtz came for,
but he does the job.
I like a lot more of his. He has a bit more of the attributes that makes the Liverpool team a lot better than what Florian Wirtz has got. And don't get me wrong,
right?
Because when Szoboszlai plays, Liverpool's midfield is a midfield 3. When Florian Wirtz plays, Liverpool's midfield is a 2-1. So it's when Szoboszlai is in the middle of the park, it's a 4-3-3. And when Liverpool play that 4-3-3, the midfield is a bit more taken care of because Szoboszlai has got a bit more of wits about him, the way he moves around the pitch, tackles well, wins the ball, carries the ball, runs to the ball. It's a bit more physical on the ball and everything. But when Florian Wirtz plays, it's rather a midfield 2 protecting the back 4 and a Florian Wirtz in behind the front 3. And that is the difference. I think that system will work. Florian Wirtz is a quality player. He looks like he's settling in quite well. Not as fast as many people thought. But for me, if you ask me on any day, I still think the Liverpool midfield from last season is still their best midfield coming into this season. But they are trying to find a way to get Florian Wirtz to gel. And maybe it might take a bit of time.
All right. In other results, Tottenham Hotspur also drew 2-2 with Brighton and Thomas Frank's side coming from behind in the particular one. Antoine Semenyo's Bournemouth also drew 0-0 with Newcastle United. Fulham also beaten Brentford by 3-1. West Ham United losing at home to Crystal Palace. Mateta on the score sheet 2-1 there. Leeds United going to Wolverhampton Wanderers and winning by 3-1. Sunderland also drawing 1-0 with Aston Villa, who have scored their first goal in their 5th attempt of the season. But it was even after Renildo got himself sent off in that particular game. So when you look at the standings, it's a bit shaky for Arsenal, considering they are now 5 points of Liverpool, 15 points to Liverpool, and 10 points to Arsenal. Spurs have 10 points, Bournemouth have 10 points, Crystal Palace are 5th with 9 points, Chelsea are 6th with 8 points, Sunderland 8, Fulham 8, Manchester City 7, Everton 7, Man United 11, and that's why I will end with the standings. And all that. So we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll be looking at the UEFA Champions League. But I would like us to touch a bit on Real Madrid and the Vinicius Junior Mbappe situation that Xabi Alonso so far has handled, to me, quite exceptionally.
This is the FC Pitchside Podcast, the first in an exciting lineup of podcasts by Footy Centre. Footy Centre is where you'd read your intriguing opinions and daily stories about football. From Europe's biggest leagues, the Champions League, international matches, and for Ghanaian fans, get closer to your favorite national teams.
Welcome back to FC Pitchside Podcast. You may be listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Thank you very much. Please hit the subscribe button and like this content. Leave us a comment if you would like us to hear what your opinion is on the various conversations that we are having. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. Please do same on YouTube, and tell a friend about this, so we always continue to grow with you. Now, I'm still here with Sicho and Ajo. Guys, let's do La Liga before we go to the Champions League. So Real Madrid won yet again this weekend. Kylian Mbappe once again on the score sheet. And the conversation from last season about Carlo Ancelotti trying to fit in Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Junior, and Mbappe seems to be a thing of the past, because now Xabi Alonso has moved on from there. It seems to be a straight battle between Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo on the left wing. And it's one player starting this game, another player starting the next game, and he looking for a response from either of them. I think he's handled this exceptionally.
Perfect.
I think that the way he's handled Vinicius Junior, that those big egos in the Real Madrid dressing room needed someone who would say, "This is my way, or you are out." And it looks like he has the backing of the club, because those are huge influences in the dressing room. Sicho.
Yeah, it also helps, especially if you are somehow winning the games. If you're not winning the games, then there's a lot of pressure on you. The fans are.
And it helps that you're a club legend too. Anyway,
it helps that you are very highly respected. You've got some pedigree behind you. Because if you're not winning the game, Real Madrid fans are going to be like, "Why is Vinicius, one of our best players in the last 5 years, not playing? I mean, what are you doing with Rodrigo?" All these questions are going to be asked. But he's winning the game, and he's winning in some way, somehow. But I like the psychology of what Xabi Alonso has done. What Xabi Alonso has done really is he's actually done it so well that it's cascaded throughout the squad. One of the biggest problems Carlo Ancelotti faced was Vinicius Junior is a star at Real Madrid.
Right.
As big as he was as a star, Kylian Mbappe was one of those stars as well. And he could chip in a Jude Bellingham and at times Rodrigo. Now, one thing about these stars are that sometimes he affects their attitude of the ball and their work rates and everything, because they can be very comfortable. They're untouchables in the team. They'll play whatever happens. The team relies on them to win games and all of that. What Alonso has done is to subtly break or take that stardom thing away from certain players and allow the one person to be the star. So subtly, by bringing a competition between Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior, Vinicius Junior can't look at Mbappe as competing with Mbappe for the stardom. He all of a sudden
it's now against Rodrigo.
Against Rodrigo, and the two of you now are fighting for a position. So it's about who works harder. It's about who tracks back. It's about who puts in the shift. Not only about who's staying high up the pitch. So the only one star now in Real Madrid is Kylian Mbappe. And to help what Alonso is doing, Mbappe has started the season with a flyer. He's banging in the goals and he's looking sharp and brilliant. The other thing that he's also done is to look at what Trent Alexander-Arnold and tell him that, Trent, you came in with high promise. You were brilliant in Liverpool. You've come, so many teams wanted you, but there's still my captain, Carvajal, who can play games. So even though you're not injured, Carvajal will start you be on the bench. So if you have Vinicius, you don't think the manager is only targeting you, because you look around the team, it's like Rodrigo is not playing. Mostantano is playing ahead of Rodrigo. I mean, Alexander Arnold is not playing. Cavaya has come to play. Rudiger is not playing. Militao is playing. Carlson is playing. Frank Garcia or Mendy, who is injured, if he comes, he's not automatically play. So throughout the entire squad, almost every player is having to now fight for his place, apart from Kylian Mbappe. So what is that now? It's Real Madrid, it's a Kylian Mbappe team. And all the other players must be willing to buy in to get a place in the team. I think the coaching and the psychology of it is being smart, and it's being helped by the wins that they are chucking.
Ajo, do you think Alonso is able to lead this team to glory with the changes he's making? Jude Bellingham is now back, not fully fit, but also back in the team. How he slots in, nobody knows. Alonso seems to hold the keys to all of it.
He's managing the boys so well, and for me, I'm quite surprised. I knew he was a man with a lot of tactical ideas coming to this job, but
how man management is a different ball game.
I'm telling you, bro, I'm telling you, don't go to Don Carlo for that, for lessons, because you can have the tactics. If you can manage this Arsenal's, you'll be in trouble. So I am so impressed, and look at his record. Just like Liverpool, they are winning games. So they are winning. They have bits in games that they don't play well. But when Mbappe gets his moments, he has seized every moment so far in all the games he has been playing. And I've been listening to his documentaries and interviews of. I think he wants to evolve. Mbappe has crazy numbers. Mbappe has like a huge following, but I think he has realized that people don't like him for no particular reason. So now he's saying the right words, granting the right interviews, like doing the right. Like example, when Cavaya had a red card, look at what he did. I don't see Mbappe do that even with the French national team. Mbappe ran to Cavaya, took off the captain's armband, and let him move far because you've been a nuisance to the club at that point in that game. So I'm seeing different aspects of Kylian Mbappe, and I'm so impressed. And I'm saying something. I think he's leading the Ballon d'Or race for this season.
You mean Kylian Mbappe?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. The goals he's scoring and how but it also depends on the trophies he wins. You know, you can score 50 goals, and if you're not winning trophies, it goes against you.
But for Kylian Mbappe, I keep saying if he scores 40 goals, 50 goals, if he gets close to that Messi calendar year goals, and he doesn't win the Champions League, he's in trouble. I think he is tied to the Champions League. Mbappe scores just 30 goals, or just even less than 30 goals this season, and wins Champions League, every player will go for him.
Oh yeah.
So I'm happy. Luckily for him, the Madrid defense has like evolved, and Militao is back, and they are playing well. And even him defensively, now he drives back to defend on set pieces. And this coach has every detail in his hands. My only worry for Madrid now is what? Rodrigo, you're a fine winger. We know you want to play as a left winger. But Vinicius Junior has been playing well there. Before I go there, tell me, let's credit Vinicius Junior for what he's doing right now. Now he takes penalties and gives it to Kylian Mbappe. He doesn't want to be a problem, but the media is making him a problem. For me, before Kylian Mbappe came, he was an iconic guy for Madrid. He was a superstar. Can they share that stardom? Maybe yes, maybe no. But for me, if somebody has impacted Madrid, it is him. He has scored in UCL finals, scored in big games. He has impacted the club more than Mbappe for now. But Mbappe
So what's the point you're making now?
That he has humbled himself to Mbappe to be the star boy, to be the lead.
Right. So you're trying to say that we need to give Vinicius Junior some credits for the rise of Mbappe in this Madrid team.
Yes. Because he can also become pompous and say, okay, I'm the best. I've won Madrid the Champions League before. Oh yes, I had that. So
it can get there. I mean, it's just 5 games. It can get there. Yeah. It depends on it, and again, you see, it's going to be a very long season. If by Christmas Vinicius Junior is still in and out of the first team, I'm telling you, it's going to be a problem. He's not the kind of character that would just
now they are engaging their comment section, like in their social media posts, to show the world that they are cool.
It takes a while. By December, January, February, there's going to be the cracks very visible in the wall. Anyway, let's it's definitely going to come. Let's move on straight to the UEFA Champions League. And guys, we're going to do this within 10 minutes or less. The Champions League, for the sake of time. I'll just run through the important results that we saw. Barcelona beating Newcastle by 2-1. Bayern Munich beating Chelsea by 3-1. PSG thrashing Atalanta by 4-0. Man City beating Napoli by 2-0. Liverpool beating Atletico Madrid once again late late winner, 3-2. Tottenham also beating Villarreal by 1-0. Arsenal beating Athletic Club de Bilbao by 2-0. And then also, have I mentioned Tottenham beating Villarreal by 1-0? Anyway, so those are the results I want us to look at. I want you guys to take one game each. Let's talk through it and then we move on. George just spoke, so Cicho, I'll start with you. Take one game out of these results and let's look at your thoughts on that.
Give me any game. As well.
Let me give you
like that.
let me give you Barcelona Newcastle United.
Yeah.
2-1. And I again, the talking point was all about Rashford, but it's also about the tenacity of Newcastle United, especially in big games in the UEFA Champions League. But they don't seem to get over the line, but they know how to fight.
Yeah, listen, St. James's Park, there's history. The last time Barcelona played there, Asprilla scored a hat-trick there. So he was even in the crowd to help get the place to be pumped. And I like what Hansi Flick did with the Barca team. Barca were not eager to play in the first 15 minutes because they knew what to expect at St. James's Park. When you go to St. James's Park, it's a big game, it's a big day. When the game starts, you know they are coming for you. You know they'll press everybody, they'll chase every ball. And Barcelona were not in a haste to play because they could really have come under the pressure. But what they did was to be strong, be resilient, and then weather the storm in the first 15 minutes, after which they started controlling the game. And then Newcastle now had to start chasing the ball and what have you. But what was more impressive was the English boy returning back to England, this time around in the Catalan jersey, Barcelona, and scoring twice. I really like that Rashford, 2 of those goals. The first one, the header, was a difficult one. It was on a penalty spot. He still used his neck muscles really well to generate power and find the bottom corner.
It was a really, really
got
good
the ball
header.
away from. Very, very good header. Then the second goal is what we know of Rashford. He's got enough power in his boots when he strikes the ball. But it's just the way he checked his body, dropped the shoulder, and shifted the ball. And his body angle looked like it was away from goal, but yet he actually turned in a way that he could get a shot into the far corner. So yeah, it was a brilliant day for Barcelona. They managed the game well. They managed the temperament of the game well. Weathered the Newcastle early pressure, and then my God, Pedri and his guy De Jong in the middle of the park. As soon as I started controlling the game, it was all those two guys. So yeah, well done Hansi Flick, well done Marcus Rashford, and good stuff for Barca.
Ajal, which game are you taking?
Yeah. Let me take the Liverpool-Madrid game. Atletico Madrid. I saw the Simeone brouhaha with the Liverpool fans, and I was like, "This is very interesting." It shows one thing, that he's still not focused, or he's still not happy with that tension negatively going around his club. Like, he's not playing well. They are not winning games, and people are asking for him to be sacked. And I think he has to just resign.
That's never going to happen. He's the highest paid coach in the world. He's never leaving that job. At least not willingly.
And they're scared to sack him.
They're not scared.
Let's Madrid owe everything to him. They owe absolutely
exactly. They're not scared. You see, that is a man that has changed the fortunes of Atletico Madrid drastically.
Let me ask: has he won the Champions League?
No. But he's gone close twice. He's won the league twice. He's gone close in the Champions League final twice.
For the league, the La Liga deserves somebody to be competing or stressing Barca and Madrid. So if you win the league twice in, let's say, 8, 9 years, 10 years, it's fair. It's not fair.
It's exceptional.
It's
in an era of Barcelona and Real Madrid buying everybody and winning everything.
This thing, I don't know. People keep defending this man. He has spent money. Yes. Every summer they are there. Big name spenders, they are there.
Yes.
In La Liga, they spend big money.
But remember, he has not outspent anybody in Europe.
Yeah, he hasn't outspent Madrid.
In his region, he does.
Let me say something. Yeah. To be honest to Diego Simeone, he's come to Atletico Madrid at a time where we had the Pep Guardiola Barcelona, one of the greatest teams we've seen in the history of football. Yeah. That team dominated the world, and he came to play against them. Then we saw another wave of Barcelona under Luis Enrique, one of my favorite Barcelona teams of all time. They were immense, right? All of that, Simeone had to be there. While he's done that, Simeone was still the coach of Atletico Madrid, an era of the great Real Madrid team that won the Champions League 3 times in a row. Now, when you have to compete with these teams for a league title, it is near impossible. And let's not forget, before Simeone took over Atletico Madrid, this is a club that was almost in bankruptcy. What has he done? By finishing 3rd and guaranteeing them Champions League football every season in the last 15 or 10 years, he has made the club rich. So every money the club spends on players for him, he made that money for the club. And he hasn't only made them rich by competing for Champions League. He won the league twice against Barca and Real Madrid. He's won Copa del Rey. It's been the Champions League twice. And in those Champions League finals, he wasn't blown away like Inter Milan. He wasn't blown away like Man United against Barcelona. He went all the way, one of them, to the spot kick against the great Real Madrid team. And we know what Ramos did to them in the end in the other one. So as for Simeone, Atletico Madrid owe him everything. Like he can relegate this team and the fans will still clap him off the pitch. He's a legend.
Okay,
And absolutely. And again, we talk about the spending, but we must also remember that it's not as if he's outspent any of the big boys in Europe. He's not outspent Real Madrid or Barcelona. And when you come to England, he can never outspend any of the top clubs in England.
Well,
You know, and in Germany, the biggest club there is Bayern Munich. He can't outspend them. The only teams that he can outspend is the Italian teams. And he does better than the Italian teams most of the time
Every day.
in the Champions League, besides Inter Milan, you know, in recent years.
but in Spain, sometimes he does spend good money. Money that Atletico Madrid in the past, maybe they won't spend for any coach.
Do you think another coach comes to Atletico Madrid and does better?
That's where I'm coming there. I feel there are coaches who can take this job, look at this profile, they play some exciting football, and they distort whatever plans Barca and Madrid have, and make themselves a nuisance in the.
It is the most difficult job to do in the world.
You
To
feel
take up any other team besides Barcelona and
No
Real
pressure
Madrid
job like
and think
Atletico
you can
Madrid.
disrupt the you know, there's
And
a
you see,
same
for me,
power.
I have a coach for them.
Who is that?
Felipe Luis.
Who?
Felipe Luis.
Yeah,
Felipe Luis, Flamingo.
Who's Felipe Luis?
yeah.
Felipe Luis, the former Chelsea and Atletico Madrid player.
Chelsea, yeah.
Flamingo Felipe
Flamingo.
Luis.
Yeah.
Oh,
If
Because of
Simeone,
us.
no.
Adult.
Let me learn. Former Atletico Madrid player. I've watched him in Brazil. I watched him in the club workout. I've seen a no pressure Atletico Madrid team that needs a different system. That needs like a plan A and a plan B. If they were able to trust Simeone back then when he was quote unquote and nobody, you can do this for him. You can come for Areola. You can come for the Crystal Palace coach. There are coaches that can go to Atletico Madrid and do better than what he's doing now. That's how I feel.
it is easy to look at the Premier League. It is
I'm
easy
like,
to
you
look
know,
at the
like,
Premier League and
because
think that
one
any
thing
of
that
these
pains
guys
me,
can go to Atletico Madrid.
one thing that makes me feel bad is that they have quality players. You've taken a bet. You've taken a bet and you're watching Atletico game. Like maybe I'm watching Atletico game. I want them to win 2-1. And I'm looking at the play and I get angry. What are they doing? You have Barrios, you have Gallagher, you have Almeida. You have quality, you have good players. You have Alvarez, you have Solo. You have
No, I've got
Gimenez
only one
in-
problem
in
with the recent Diego Simeone, right? Diego Simeone has also bought into the pressure of Atletico Madrid have got enough talent to play expansive football. That is not your style. You know the interesting thing, Sicho. He starts playing expansive football, nice football for the first 10, 15 Yes.
games, realizes it's not working, and then he goes back to his system.
He reverts.
And that is how he's able to finish finish in the top positions. If he tries continuously trying to play expansive football, he will fail as a manager. And I think that's what's
And my
affected
point
Jose
is-
Mourinho at the point.
And my point is, the truth of the matter is, when we saw his best teams, those teams had enough quality to play expansive football, yet he didn't. And he was successful playing the brand of football he played. Ada Turan is top quality. His fullbacks, Juan Fran, massive, Saudi Get, Koke. Name all the players.
They are
Raul
12
Garcia.
now. And today he drew.
No, yes, today you do. I mean, these are top players who could have played expansive football. Yet he had a style that was working for him, and that style was relevant because he couldn't have gone toe to toe with Real Madrid or gone toe to toe with Barcelona. What he had to do was what he did. But now he's gone under the pressure of play like Barca, play like Sevilla, play like Real Madrid, and it's not working. If you reverse the type, I guarantee you, not many teams in La Liga are going to beat Atletico Madrid because Simeone, for me, in my opinion, is not a very top coach. And if he leaves Atletico Madrid, he wouldn't be short of suitors. I mean, he's got to go plenty
Of
jobs. He can
course.
go
I mean,
to the national team.
there were times before when Klopp took over at Liverpool, and before there were lots of times when Chelsea have been linked to him, Liverpool have been linked to him. He's been linked to Manchester United job. He's been linked to several top jobs in European football, simply because of the work he's done at Atletico Madrid. Anyway, we've spent 50 minutes already, guys. This is just a mention, though. Jose Mourinho is moved to Benfica. He's already won his first game in charge at Benfica, and his first Champions League game will be against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. What a
Brilliant.
homecoming that is going to be.
Yeah.
And this is after he got booted out by Benfica as Fenerbahce manager. But he's gone back to Benfica where he started it all. After 14 games, he decided to leave the club and he moved on into greater things. Anyway, Thomas Partey as well this week has been in the news, and it's because of his court issues. Remember, it's because of the rape and sexual assault allegations was it 4 or 5 counts of sexual assaults, and he's pleaded not guilty, and the case has been adjourned.
Thomas says he's innocent. Thomas says everything the girls are saying he didn't do them. So I mean, he's innocent onto guilt, and I'm happy that Villarreal.
Let me chip in this. When I saw him at Alisa Hotel, I didn't see a happy man, and I was like, "Will you be happy if you're in this situation?" No, he looked disturbed. He looks like out of focus when he's not playing football.
Yeah.
I asked him a question like,
absent-minded a little bit. Yeah, I met somebody who's quite close to Thomas. Yeah. And when Thomas came for the international duty, he had a cut issue before he had to fly in.
Yeah,
he was even sick when he went to play against Chad, and he was available for the game against Mali. And my brother was at the stadium. He said Thomas was a great player. He saw him play and everything. But I know someone who was close to him when he came to Ghana was like, Thomas doesn't look himself. He probably is dealing with the whole.
And why? So I felt sad. I felt bad.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So we wish him all the best. If he's innocent, of course, he clears his name and hopefully he can continue with his life. If he's guilty, then of course the law takes its course, and so we'll see. We're following the proceedings for sure.
Yeah. But the good thing is at least Villarreal have given him a lifeline, and it's good that he's still playing football. He's still doing what he loves the most. This is what he's done all his life.
He comes from the bench often for now.
Yeah.
Even though I think he's.
And the reason is because he didn't have a good preseason. Let's remember that. He didn't have a good preseason.
Villarreal are managing Thomas really well, and I like it.
They're managing him really well because that is the best you can do for a player like that.
Yeah.
And that's why when Chelsea fans are asking for Garnacho to be starting games, I'm like, you guys slow down.
No, it's like
the guy didn't have a preseason.
This Man U game, he should have been started.
No. It's easy to say because of hindsight.
But he didn't have preseason.
He didn't have a preseason. You can't start. And again, there are 2 factors. 1, he didn't have a preseason. 2, he's returning to a club that he almost seems like he has a bad blood with the club. That can go against him.
The presence of Garnacho alone. Well,
Garnacho will just get red card safe.
Yeah, it's very possible, Charlie, bro. Anyway, let's go quickly to our quiz. It's time. But before we do the quiz, a quick break, and we'll be right back with the player zigzag. That's what these guys want. So I'm giving the player zigzag today. We'll be right back.
This is the FC Pitchside Podcast, the first in an exciting lineup of podcasts by Footy Centre. Footy Centre is where you'd read your intriguing opinions and daily stories about football. From Europe's biggest leagues, the Champions League, international matches, and for Ghanaian fans, get closer to your favorite national teams.
Welcome back here to FC Pitchside Podcast with me, Thierry, and I'm here with Sicho and Ajoy, and it's time for me to test their football knowledge when it comes to player transfer. So, there's a Sicho, you be like everybody gets some weapon against you. Jonathan Mensah has a helmet against you. Now Ajoy has special sunglasses against you. Nah. Sicho be legend. Sicho is a legend. So wow, you come with the racket.
Nah,
I can't wait for Jonathan Mensah to see this. I can't wait for Jonathan to see this. Let's go quickly, guys. So, as we always do it, we have 3 names, and I'm going to give you the player trajectory, the clubs they played for, let me know who the player is. Best of 3 is the winner of this episode's quiz. Let's start with this player who started his football career at Nottingham Forest, and then he moved to Newcastle United. And then he decided to stay in England, and so he says, I'll play at Tottenham Hotspur. And then he went on loan to Aston Villa, and then to Nottingham Forest again. It didn't fare too well for him, and this time signed a permanent contract at Queen's Park Rangers. Who is he? Nottingham Forest.
Is that in Nottingham Forest? Went to Spurs.
No, went to Newcastle.
Went to
And then-
Nottingham, Newcastle.
And then after Newcastle, he went to Tottenham Hotspur. And
After
then
Newcastle-
on loan, very brief loan at Aston Villa, and then Nottingham Forest again. You can discount those two because he signed permanently for QPR. So Nottingham Forest, Newcastle United, Spurs, and QPR. This time you guys have 2 minutes. Just
Nottingham
so we save time.
Forest, Newcastle Spurs. Nottingham Forest, Newcastle Spurs. Nottingham Forest, Newcastle Spurs.
Heskey.
Not Heskey.
Nottingham Forest, Newcastle Spurs. Nottingham Forest, Nottingham
Any
Forest,
ideas?
Yes. Nottingham Forest, Newcastle Spurs.
I can give you a hint.
Give me a hint.
He's English.
Of course.
I'll give you another hint.
Too.
I'll give you another hint.
He's a striker.
No, he's an attacking midfielder.
Newcastle.
Nottingham Forest, Newcastle. This is difficult.
So I'm looking at that Newcastle Spurs thing.
I'm looking at QPR. Players that play QPR, they have
He made his name mostly at Newcastle and Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Newcastle Spurs.
And he's English.
I'll give you a last hint. He made his name under Harry Redknapp.
I read Lampard.
Choluka.
No,
Nico Crancher. No, that was
no.
Portsmouth.
I said he's English.
He's English, yeah. And
Will you give us his position?
Jermaine Jenas.
Jermaine Jenas is correct.
Jermaine
Jermaine Jenas is correct. Jermaine Jenas is correct.
That's played for
Jermaine
QPR.
Jenas.
Yeah, he finished his career at QPR, 38
yeah,
appearances
yeah.
between 2013 and 2014.
Yeah.
He scored 4 goals over there. So Sicho has the first correct answer. Let's move on to the second man. This guy, if you pay attention very, very correctly, you will know who he is. He played for FC Basel. And then he moved to Borussia Mönchengladbach. He made a very good name for himself there, and so he signed for Arsenal. And that's when
Shaman.
that's when he became a correct global star. And from there, he moved to Bayern Leverkusen. And then to Sunderland. Who is he?
Shaka.
Shaka is correct.
Oh, but
Shaka is correct. And Joe was like, shh. The shit is nothing because it can be shamak. It can be champagne. Oh my goodness. He says shit. Why do you say shit when you can't finish it and you know someone is listening to you?
It is stomach.
Okay. Let me just today we've gone through very quickly. Let me do the last one. Maybe this will be a saving grace for Ajo. This guy started his career. No, let me change it. I'll use this guy for next week. So this guy started his career at West Ham United, and then he went on loan to Bournemouth, and then he signed for Tottenham Hotspur, and then he went on loan to Portsmouth, and then he signed for Portsmouth, and then he went to Tottenham Hotspur, and then he played for Toronto FC, and then he went on loan. Jermaine Defoe is correct.
Jermaine Defoe.
Today is a clean sweep. Clean sweep. All three correct answers have gone to Sicho. Sicho, your tennis racket saved the day. Your tennis racket is the hammer. This is the hammer of what's that guy in the Marvel movie of Thor. This is the hammer of Thor.
I'll be back.
Nah, Joe, your sunglasses didn't help you. Your sunglasses didn't help you. You couldn't see the name.
He didn't see the
Ah,
name.
Your sunglasses didn't help you. Anyway, so Sicho won this particular episode. And anyway, there's a message from Jonathan Mensah to you. He says he's noticed that you are winning in his absence. He says he's coming for you. He says I should tell you that he's coming for you.
Jonathan should definitely come out. Beat him. Jonathan, forget Jonathan. Beat him back to back. Send this one to him.
Anyway,
Yeah, man,
that'll be all for this episode. Thank you very much, guys, and thank you everyone
Thanks, guys.
for joining and
Do
listening
what
and
to
viewing as well. My name is
subscribe,
Theo
guys. If
Nyan.
you're watching on Twitter, do what to subscribe. We beg you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, subscribe, and share.
Subscribe, like, and leave a comment. We want to hear from you. We want to hear if you're enjoying this and which perspectives you agree and do not agree with. And that'll be all for FC Presside Podcast for this episode. Thank you very much. Same time next week.
Welcome to Footy Center Podcast Series. Welcome to Footy Center Podcast Series.